Hey everyone, Andy Craig back here with part two of What is a Warrior. And if you didn't catch the first one there, effectively what where I'm at right now is haven't been on in a while, so I just wanted to kind of refresh everyone's memory here that hey, I'm still here. But I was talking about how every man has a battle to fight, a beauty to rescue, and an adventure to live. I got that from a book I read years ago, and it resonated deep within my heart here. And what I've been discussing is trying to make it short, but with me, that's rarely the case, is really the battle side of things because the male heart needs a battle to fight. We've got so many young people right now that are wandering aimlessly. And in large part, it's because they don't understand what it means to really dive deep into things. And quite honestly, when I was young, I didn't get it either. We need something to focus on, especially as men. Women are probably the same way, but I'll talk from the male perspective right now. We need a career, a path, a business, a ministry, something for us to bite into, to chomp into. It gives us meaning, gives us work. I mean, in the Garden of Eden, Adam was given a job, and his job was to work the garden, to till the garden, to cultivate the garden. That was the work he had. As men, we need the same thing. We need a work to do, whatever it happens to be, whether it's a job, whatever you call a career, a business, a ministry. You need something to sink your teeth into. It's how we identify. I mean, the reality is our Lord Jesus, he had a work to do. He worked for 30 years as a carpenter. I should say it wasn't 30 years. 30 years he went into ministry. But I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years, somewhere around that range, he was a carpenter. That was his trade. He learned that from his earthly father, Joseph, his adopted earthly father. So when we take the example of Jesus, he worked. Now, all of his disciples that he called, they all were also workers. They had a tax collector, you had multiple fishermen, you had a doctor, and a whole bunch of other entrepreneurs that were in there. So we need something to do, something to focus on, and that's part of the battle. If your whole goal in life is to see what it is that you can achieve on your video game, you ain't got no purpose there, bro. You need something more going on than a video game. Now, video games can be a stress relief at times, but as one friend of mine likes to say, is what you're doing stress relieving or goal achieving? And in many cases, and I'm guilty of this myself far too many times, it's usually stress relieving. Yeah, we do, especially if we're coming onto social media here, going through that scroll and everything. We're usually trying to relieve our stress. Sometimes we're looking for a specific thing to help us in what it is that we're trying to do, but in a lot of cases, it's entertainment. Not even edutainment, which is a combination of education and entertainment, edutainment, which is what I strive to do, is edutainment. But it's just flat entertainment. We're just there to dull our senses because of whatever it is going on. And it's a way to unplug from the reality of life, but we need to be focused on something that we've got going on in life. And men need this. I would imagine women need it too, but our identity as men is wrapped up in work. That's why conversations that we have usually are the first thing, at least in American culture. What do you do? What's your line of work? Because that's our identity. Now, from some of the women I've talked to, it's kind of the conversations women have as well. But the bottom line is our identity becomes synonymous with the work that we do. And there's nothing wrong with that one, although I prefer to ask because we are more than just the work that we do. We are, in our core being, we are made more than that. Now, the work, we are wired for a certain kind of work. That's true. But that just because we're wired for a certain kind of work does not mean that work becomes our identity. It gives us purpose, it gives us meaning, it gives us fulfillment in life if we are doing the right kind of work. Not everyone, as a matter of fact, the vast majority of people in this nation are not doing work that they are designed to do. But that is where the battle lies, to figure out what we are wired for, to figure out how we are wired to do it, and then to go out and do the work that the Lord has called us to do. And that's really where it's at right now. And I think right now I'm going to go ahead and call this one good and post this one here. So ladies and gentlemen, Andy Craig here. Thank you if you made it this far. And I look forward to round number 3 whenever it is I do that one. Talk to you soon.